Hello, Math Humans. We're going to do 10 bonus today. Woohoo! We're going to be talking about conics and a general equation. So we're going to transfer the general conic equation using completing the squares via math into a standard form conic equation. And then based on the equation, we're going to classify the conic. So the general form for all conics is going to be ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. Well, that's scary looking, but that is a conic because both the x's and the y's are squared, okay? And not always, but here's some things that we're going to look for. If x and y are both squared, then the possibilities are it could be a circle, it could be an ellipse, or it could be a hyperbola. And we would have to find more characteristics from the equation to determine which it is. If only x or y are squared, then it's going to be our parabolas. Okay, and then depending again on the equation, then it's going to let us determine what's happening. If I have an x squared plus a y squared, that means that it could be either a circle or an ellipse. Okay, and again, depending on what a and b values are, if it's x squared minus y squared, or vice versa, it could be y squared minus x squared, the only shape that has a negative in between the two squared terms is the hyperbola. So it's really pretty easy to determine what type of shape we have, and we're going to do all of it based on this general formula, and we're going to convert using completing the square. So I think the best thing to do is to just jump right in with an example. So I want to convert to standard form, and then I want to identify the conic. And when we identify our conic, we need to use math adjectives, English, and those are going to be things like vertical and horizontal. Okay, so we want to be very specific about what type of conic we have. The equation that we're going to be given is 9x squared minus y squared minus 36x minus 6y plus 18 is equal to 0. So right off the bat, we know that it's going to be a hyperbola. I'm not going to say that it is a horizontal hyperbola because occasionally, throughout the process of completing the squares, my negative can change places. So the first thing that I'm going to do is put my x things together. So I'm going to do 9x squared minus 36x, and then I have my minus y squared minus 6y, and I'm going to scoot that guy to the other side. Okay. Now I'm going to start to do completing the square, so I'm going to factor a 9 out of these two, and I'm going to get x squared minus 4x, and I'm going to leave some space. And then on these two, I'm going to factor out a negative 1, and I'm going to get my y squared plus 6y, leave some space, is a negative 18. And now remember, for completing the square, I take half of the middle term. Half of 4 is 2, squared is 4. But remember, I have to distribute. 9 times 4 is 36. This is a positive 36, so that means I'm going to put a positive 36 on the other side, because the net effect has to be 0. Half of 6 is 3, squared is plus 9. This is a minus 9, so that needs to be a minus 9. Now I'm going to factor 9 times x minus 2 quantity squared minus 1 times y plus 3 quantity squared is equal to, when I simplify this math, I get 9. Now I need a 1 on the right-hand side, so I'm going to divide both sides by 9. Okay, so I'm going to divide by 9, and I'm going to get x minus 2 squared over 1 minus y plus 3 quantity squared over 9 is equal to 1. And now I can talk about what I have. This is a horizontal because x is positive hyperbola. And if they ask you other questions like about the foci or the vertices or any of that type of question, you could figure that out because you know your A's and your B's. You could find the C, you know the vertex. So you could actually find out lots of information. But if they ask you to identify the conic, for me, this is sufficient. I need to know which direction and which conic section. All right. We don't have many examples today because the process is virtually the same. Identify, spelling is optional, the conic, and of course we're going to have with adjectives. I do know a wee bit of English. Alrighty, the equation that we're going to be given is y squared plus 6y plus x plus 25 is equal to 0. Now this equation is a little bit different. Notice that I'm basically going to get x is equal to y squared. So I know that this is going to be a parabola when I'm done. Okay? So I'm going to, because it's a parabola, I'm going to take these two things to the other side. So y squared plus 6y is going to equal a negative x minus 25. And now I'm going to do completing the square. Half of 6 is 3. Squared is plus 9. And I'm going to add plus 9. Okay? I'm going to factor on the left-hand side. Y plus 3, quantity squared, is equal to a negative x minus 16. I'm going to factor out a negative 1. And I'm going to get x plus 16. So now I'm going to write my equation in standard form. So I'm going to write a negative, and then x plus 16 is equal to y plus 3 quantity squared. So this is x is equal to y squared. It opens to the left because of the negative. So I'm going to say that this is a parabola and that it opens left. Okay, and again, I could find my 4P, I could find my vertex, I could find my directrix and my focus, but right now all we're doing is managing the equations and determining what the shape is. We have one more example, nice short video today. Woohoo! I want to identify the conic, and of course I need to use with adjectives, D. So the equation that we're going to be given is 9x squared plus 4y squared minus 54x plus 40y plus 37 is equal to 0. So right off the bat, I have x squared and y squared. I have a plus. My a and b are going to be different because these two numbers are different, so I know that this is going to be an ellipse. Now I just have to do a little bit of math to determine some more about my ellipse. I'm going to group my x things, so 9x squared minus 54x, and then 4y squared plus 40y, and I'm going to scoot the 37 to the other side. I'm going to factor a 9 out of this one, so x squared minus 6x leaves some space. And then I'm going to factor a 4 out of this one, y squared plus 10y leaves some space, negative 37. Half of 6 is 3, squared is 9, so plus 9. 9 times 9 is 81, so I'm going to add 81 to the other side. Half of 10 is 5, squared is 25. 25 times 4 is plus 100. So now when I factor, I'm going to have x minus 3 quantity squared, 4 times y plus 5 quantity squared is equal to 144. Divide both sides by 144, and I'm going to get x minus 3 quantity squared over 16 plus y plus 5 quantity squared over 36 is equal to 1. The largest number is under the y, therefore this is a vertical ellipse. All right, meaning that it has been stretched the most on the vertical axis. All right, my dears, that is it for today. That was a nice short video. I'll see you soon.